Every trading day, millions of individuals find themselves before their glowing screens, eyes scanning charts, deciphering market movements. They analyze patterns, hoping to unlock secrets to profitable decisions. The allure of the markets is powerful, promising freedom and fortune. Yet, a stark reality emerges. Why do a select few traders consistently succeed, while many face repeated losses? This disparity points to a deeper factor, often unrecognized. Many believe the key to profits lies in more market knowledge or a foolproof system. However, the true answer lies within the complexities of the human mind itself. The real challenge and path to triumph reside in the psychological landscape where decisions are forged. The genuine arena for trading battles is the trader's mind. Emotions, beliefs, and biases profoundly influence every market decision. Fear, hope, and ego can cloud judgment, leading to hesitation or impulsive actions. These psychological forces derail even the best trading plans. The market acts as a mirror, reflecting our internal state through trading results. Mark Douglas's shifts focus from market analysis to psychological mastery. Douglas argues that mental game is the most important aspect of trading success. He provides a roadmap for traders to navigate their minds effectively, overcoming psychological hurdles. Mark Douglas explores the psychology of trading. His work has fundamentally altered how traders approach the markets and themselves. Douglas recognized that traders often self-sabotage due to misaligned beliefs about the market. The central thesis: to achieve success, one must think differently. Douglas emphasizes developing a trader's mindset, cultivating discipline, objectivity, and acceptance of risk. He explains common psychological pitfalls and how to neutralize self-sabotaging thoughts. Thinking in probabilities is a game changer. Understanding that consistent edge manifests over a series of trades provides a framework for peak trading performance, addressing the human element. Many traders believe the key to profitability lies in the perfect strategy. They spend countless hours learning techniques and searching for surefire systems. This pursuit can become all-consuming, leading to endless tweaking and system hopping. However, focusing solely on strategy overlooks a critical component: psychology. Trading success is approximately 80% psychology and 20% strategy. A good system fails without flawless execution due to psychological interference. The journey to success involves understanding and transforming one's mental landscape. Emotional forces like fear, hope, and ego can derail trading plans. Fear of losing money or being wrong leads to hesitation or inappropriate risk-taking. Hope can cause traders to hold on to losing positions, praying for a turnaround. Ego drives the need to be right, leading to revenge trading and poor decisions. These emotions distort perception and lead to counterproductive actions. Fear causes missed opportunities and premature profit-taking. Hope leads to holding losing positions and adding to losing trades. Ego makes it difficult to admit mistakes, resulting in stubbornness and biased views. Many traders believe success hinges on predicting the market. They search for predictive indicators and follow market gurus. However, seasoned professionals emphasize that prediction is not necessary for success. Markets are inherently random and unpredictable in the short term. Believing in certainty leads to overconfidence and disappointment. Successful trading involves operating effectively despite uncertainty. Focus shifts to preparation, execution, and risk management. The key is a system with positive expectancy over many trades, not individual predictions. Section 4. The Real Ascent: Mastering Yourself to Master the Markets. The journey towards becoming a consistently profitable trader is often mistakenly perceived as an outward quest for market secrets or superior analytical techniques. While market understanding has its place, the true ascent to trading mastery is fundamentally an inward journey, a path of profound self-discovery and self-control. Mark Douglas compellingly argues that the most significant leverage a trader has is not over the market, which is an external and uncontrollable entity, but over their own thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. Therefore, the road to success is paved not with market predictions, but with unwavering self-mastery. The primary shift required is from attempting to know the market to striving to know yourself as a trader. This involves developing a keen awareness of one's own psychological landscape, identifying personal biases that cloud judgment, recognizing emotional triggers that lead to impulsive actions, and understanding the deep-seated beliefs about money, risk, and success that shape trading decisions. Without this crucial self-awareness, even the most statistically robust trading strategy is likely to be undermined by subconscious self-sabotage, leading to frustration and inconsistent results despite one's best efforts. This process of self-discovery is an ongoing one. It requires honest introspection, perhaps through practices like journaling trading decisions and the emotions experienced during each trade. It means acknowledging one's weaknesses without harsh self-criticism, but with a commitment to improvement. It involves understanding that past experiences both in trading and in life can create mental filters that distort the objective information the market is providing. Learning to see the market as it is, rather than as we wish it to be or fear it might become, is a critical skill born from this internal work. Ultimately, the goal is not to achieve perfect control over the market's unpredictable nature, for that is an impossible endeavor. The true objective is to achieve unwavering control over one's own responses to the market. This self-mastery allows a trader to execute their chosen strategy with discipline and consistency, to accept losses gracefully as a normal part of business, and to manage risk effectively, regardless of the emotional temptations or pressures that arise. It is this internal discipline, this mental fortitude, that forms the unshakable cornerstone of long-term trading success, allowing any sound strategy to finally yield its potential. The world of technical analysis, with its intricate charts, geometric patterns, and myriad indicators, holds a powerful allure for aspiring traders. It offers a seemingly logical framework for understanding market behavior, promising to turn chaotic price movements into discernible opportunities. Many traders embark on their journey with the firm conviction that mastering these analytical tools is the direct and perhaps only route to achieving consistent profitability. They diligently study trend lines, support and resistance levels, moving averages, and oscillators, believing these instruments hold the keys to unlocking the market's secrets and predicting its next directional move with reliable accuracy. This initial focus is understandable, as analysis provides a tangible skill to learn and apply in the markets. This deep dive into technical analysis often cultivates an illusion of control over the inherently uncertain market environment. The act of drawing lines on a chart or interpreting an indicator's signal can provide a comforting sense of order and predictability to the otherwise volatile flow of prices. Traders might feel that by correctly identifying a particular pattern, such as a head and shoulders top or a bullish flag formation, they have effectively decoded the market's underlying intentions. This perceived ability to foresee future price action can be incredibly seductive, reinforcing the belief that consistent success is merely a matter of refining one's analytical prowess to a higher degree. The rules and signals derived from technical systems offer a structure that seems to tame the market's wildness. However, the first significant challenge to this deeply ingrained belief arises when traders inevitably realize that technical analysis, despite its structured appearance and logical appeal, is not an infallible predictive science. It operates firmly within the realm of probabilities, offering potential scenarios rather than absolute certainties. The very same chart pattern or indicator signal can, and often will, be interpreted differently by various traders, each individual bringing their own unique biases, experiences, and psychological filters to the screen. Furthermore, even a seemingly perfect setup, one that aligns with all textbook definitions, can unexpectedly fail to produce the anticipated outcome, leaving the trader perplexed and questioning their approach. This happens because countless unforeseen variables can influence prices at any given moment. Mark Douglas, in his transformative work, emphasizes that while technical analysis is indeed a valuable tool for identifying potential trading opportunities that align with a trader's edge, its ultimate effectiveness is profoundly dependent on the trader's psychological state and mental framework. Without the correct mindset, one that wholeheartedly embraces uncertainty, manages expectations realistically, and maintains emotional detachment, technical analysis can easily become a source of immense frustration rather than a reliable guide. The charts and indicators in isolation do not possess any inherent power to guarantee profits. They are merely instruments. Their true utility is only unlocked when they are wielded by a trader who truly understands the probabilistic nature of the market and, more importantly, understands themselves and their own reactions. A core tenet that traders must eventually confront, often through a series of painful and disillusioning experiences, is the market's inherent randomness, particularly concerning short-term price fluctuations and the specific outcome of any single individual trade. While longer-term trends and overarching market tendencies can often be identified and exploited through careful analysis, the act of attempting to predict the market's next immediate move with consistent, unerring accuracy is a formidable, if not utterly impossible, endeavor. This inherent unpredictability directly challenges the common notion that any form of market analysis, no matter how sophisticated or meticulously applied, can provide a reliable crystal ball into the immediate future of price movements. Each moment in the market is unique, dynamically influenced by a vast confluence of factors. This concept of pervasive randomness in short-term market behavior often sits quite uncomfortably with the fundamental aspects of human psychology. As human beings, we are naturally wired to seek out patterns, establish order, and identify clear cause and effect relationships in our surrounding environment. It is a survival mechanism. The idea that market outcomes can be, to a significant extent, random in the short term can therefore be deeply unsettling and counterintuitive. It directly undermines the innate human desire for control and the pervasive belief that diligent study and demonstrably superior analysis should invariably lead directly to predictable and positive results on every single trading occasion, which is an unrealistic expectation. Mark Douglas compellingly argues throughout that this short-term randomness is not some kind of flaw in the market's design or a problem that needs to be solved through more complex analysis. Rather, he posits that it is a fundamental and unchangeable characteristic of its very behavior, something to be accepted rather than resisted. Truly accepting this randomness is therefore a crucial and non-negotiable step in the development of a resilient and effective trader's mindset. Instead of fruitlessly fighting against it or continuing the exhausting search for perfect predictability where it simply does not exist, successful traders learn to operate with composure and effectiveness this inherently probabilistic environment, adapting their strategies accordingly. The inherent randomness of market movements profoundly impacts the perceived reliability and the actual outcome of any single signal generated by even the most robust market analysis. An A-grade trading setup, meticulously identified through painstaking technical or fundamental study, adhering to all the rules of a proven strategy, can still quite easily result in a losing trade, much to the trader's dismay. This failure is not necessarily an indictment of the analytical method itself, nor does it automatically mean the trader made a mistake in their analysis or execution. It simply, yet powerfully, reflects the probabilistic nature of market outcomes, where any single event has a degree of uncertainty attached. When a trader experiences a gratifying string of successful trades, particularly if those profitable outcomes were perceived to be a direct result of their own insightful market analysis, it is entirely natural to feel a burgeoning sense of accomplishment and rapidly growing confidence. However, this initial, healthy, positive reinforcement can subtly and insidiously morph into a far more dangerous psychological state, that of overconfidence. The trader might begin to subconsciously believe they have truly figured out the market, that their analytical skills have now ascended to a point where they can predict future price movements with a much higher degree of certainty than is actually realistic or sustainable over time. The ego starts to become deeply attached to these outcomes. This burgeoning overconfidence, often unrecognized by the trader experiencing it, frequently leads to significant and detrimental changes in their trading behavior and decision-making processes. Believing they now possess some form of superior insight or an almost intuitive feel for the market's next move, these traders may start to take on excessive and unwarranted risk. This could manifest by impulsively increasing their position sizes far beyond prudent account management limits, or by eagerly taking trades that don't fully meet their carefully predefined strategy criteria. The meticulous discipline that perhaps underpinned their earlier successes can begin to silently erode, replaced by a subtle feeling of invincibility or an ungrounded belief that the market will surely conform. Mark Douglas issues a particularly stern and crucial warning regarding the many perils associated with such overconfidence, especially when it stems from recent analytical success or a lucky streak of winning trades. He explains with clarity that this inflated state of mind makes traders particularly vulnerable because it dangerously narrows their perception of incoming market information. They become progressively less receptive to objective market data that might contradict their current firmly held beliefs or bullish-bearish expectations. Instead of diligently observing the market as it truly is, with all its inherent uncertainties, they begin to see it primarily as it should be, filtering reality through their biased lens. The inevitable and often harsh consequence of trading from a sustained position of unchecked overconfidence is frequently a painful and humbling reckoning with market realities. When the market eventually, and it always does, delivers an outcome that sharply and unexpectedly contradicts the trader's certain forecast, the psychological impact can be disproportionately severe. This is not just a simple financial loss, it feels like a direct assault on the trader's ego and their carefully constructed identity as an astute analyst. The resulting potent cocktail of confusion, anger, or deep frustration can then easily lead to further irrational decisions, such as engaging in impulsive revenge trading to recoup losses. Redefining victory, from prognostication to process. A significant and persistent psychological barrier for a great many developing traders is the deeply ingrained habit of equating being right about a specific market call with being a skilled or good trader. This direct attachment of one's self-worth and the validation of one's analytical abilities to the profit or loss outcome of each individual trade creates immense and unnecessary emotional pressure. If a particular trade results in a win, the trader feels intelligent, insightful, and validated in their approach. Conversely, if it results in a loss, they may feel foolish, incompetent, or that their entire analysis was fundamentally flawed. This debilitating emotional roller coaster, perpetually driven by the intense need to correctly predict the market's next direction, is a primary source of common trading errors. Mark Douglas offers a profoundly transformative solution to this pervasive dilemma. Traders must consciously and diligently work to detach the outcome of any single isolated trade from their overall assessment of their trading skill or the statistical validity of their chosen trading edge. The primary focus needs to shift decisively away from the impossible and exhausting goal of achieving perfect prediction on every trade. Instead of anxiously asking, "Was I right about this trade's direction?" the more constructive and empowering question becomes, "Did I follow my predefined trading plan flawlessly and with complete discipline regardless of the outcome?" This reorientation is fundamental. The new empowering focus, as consistently advocated throughout Douglas's work, is squarely on the flawless and disciplined execution of a well-defined trading strategy that possesses a demonstrable statistical edge over a sufficiently large sample size of trades. This means rigorously adhering to pre-established objective rules for identifying valid trade setups, for entering positions at the right moment, for consistently managing risk through the correct placement and honoring of stop-loss orders, and for taking profits at predetermined target points or signals. The critical emphasis is placed firmly on the of trading, not on the unpredictable outcome of any one particular instance or market event. Embracing this crucial shift in perspective, moving from a mindset of anxious prognostication to one of disciplined process orientation, brings a profound and often surprising sense of liberation and calm to a trader's overall experience. Trading ceases to be an ego-driven, high-stakes battle to constantly outsmart the market or to continually prove one's predictive genius to oneself or others. Instead, it evolves into a much more businesslike, objective, and emotionally stable endeavor, focused entirely on the consistent application of a tested and trusted methodology. Market analysis then naturally resumes its proper and intended role. It becomes a valuable tool for identifying potential opportunities that fit within one's probabilistic framework. The casino paradigm, a trader's best analogy. The glittering world of a casino, with its dazzling lights, captivating sounds, and occasional shouts of ecstatic winners, might seem like a realm of pure chance and unpredictable fortune. Gamblers place their bets, hoping for that one big score, that life-changing jackpot. Yet behind this facade of random luck, the casino itself operates as a relentlessly profitable business enterprise. This consistent profitability is not accidental, it is meticulously engineered. Casinos are masters of understanding and applying probabilities. They do not waste energy trying to predict the outcome of a single spin of the roulette wheel, or the result of one hand of poker. Their operational perspective is far more expansive, encompassing thousands upon thousands of individual bets and gameplays, ensuring their long-term view secures their success. The secret to the casino's enduring financial success lies in what is known as the house edge. This is a small, often almost imperceptible statistical advantage that is built into the rules of every game offered on their floor. For any individual bet placed, the immediate outcome remains genuinely uncertain for both the player and the house. A player might indeed walk away with a substantial win from a single wager. However, when this small mathematical edge is applied consistently over a vast number of bets, thousands, even millions over time, it virtually guarantees overall profitability for the casino. This edge is a calculated, unwavering mathematical certainty, and it functions perfectly without needing to predict which specific gambler will win the next hand. It simply requires the games to be continually played. This casino model provides a powerful and remarkably accurate analogy for how a successful trader should approach the markets. A trader's well-defined and thoroughly tested strategy should possess a similar positive expectancy, an inherent edge. This edge, much like the casinos, does not offer the ability to foresee the outcome of the very trade with any degree of certainty. The next trade initiated could easily result in a win, or it could just as easily result in a loss. Its immediate outcome remains within the realm of short-term randomness. However, over a large series of meticulously executed trades, this consistently applied statistical edge is designed to yield a net positive result. The trader, therefore, must learn to operate like the house, trusting this probabilistic advantage, rather than behaving like an impulsive gambler chasing fleeting certainties. Embracing this casino operator mindset can bring about a profound and welcome psychological liberation for any trader. The immense, often crippling pressure to be right on every single trade, to predict each market wiggle, begins to diminish significantly, replaced by a calmer focus. The trader's primary attention shifts away from the anxiety of individual outcomes and towards the disciplined, consistent execution of their trading strategy. Losses, when they inevitably occur, are no longer perceived as personal failures or indicators of a flawed system. Instead, they are correctly understood as expected, statistically normal occurrences, simply a part of the cost of doing business within a probabilistic framework, allowing for greater objectivity and enduring discipline. The fallacy of the single trade's significance. Many individuals navigating the challenging currents of the financial markets, particularly those who are still developing their trading approach, frequently fall prey to a common psychological pitfall. They assign an overwhelming degree of emotional and financial importance to the outcome of each individual trade. A single winning trade can quickly induce a powerful wave of euphoria, fostering a dangerous and unwarranted sense of predictive mastery over the complex market. Conversely, experiencing just one losing trade can easily trigger feelings of profound disappointment, crippling self-doubt, and sometimes an immobilizing fear that prevents them from taking the next valid trading opportunity. This volatile emotional roller coaster is directly fueled by the deeply ingrained yet mistaken belief that every trade serves as a definitive referendum on their inherent skill or their system's ultimate validity. This intense, almost myopic focus on singular, isolated trading events proves to be incredibly detrimental to a trader's essential psychological equilibrium and their capacity for consistent, rational decision-making. When a particular trade concludes profitably, the subsequent surge of overconfidence can subtly tempt the trader into reckless behaviors. They might impulsively increase their position sizes far beyond what prudent risk management dictates, or they might start to carelessly ignore their established risk control rules. Sometimes they even begin taking trades that do not fully align with the strict criteria of their carefully developed plan. Conversely, when a trade inevitably fails, the ensuing feelings of despair or frustration can lead to damaging hesitation, a paralyzing fear of pulling the trigger on subsequent valid setups, or worse, engaging in impulsive revenge trading to hastily recoup the loss, often significantly compounding the initial financial damage. Mark Douglas, in his influential writings, powerfully and repeatedly illustrates a fundamental truth. The outcome of any one particular trade, when viewed in complete isolation from the larger picture, is essentially a random event operating within the broader statistical context of your established trading edge. That single outcome, whether a win or a loss, provides very little genuinely meaningful information about your strategy's overall long-term profitability or its inherent effectiveness. Consider the analogy of a coin toss. If a fair coin lands on heads just once, this isolated event certainly does not provide sufficient evidence to conclude that the coin will always land on heads. Similarly, one winning or losing trade is by itself statistically insignificant. It is merely a single data point, a small blip within a much larger and more comprehensive data set of performance. True trading success, along with a reliable and objective assessment of one's chosen strategy, can only be accurately measured and properly understood over a substantial series of executed trades. It is only across this larger sample size, perhaps dozens or even hundreds of trades, that a trader's genuine probabilistic edge can effectively emerge from the noise of short-term randomness and clearly demonstrate its statistical worth. Therefore, cultivating the unwavering mental discipline to consciously detach one's ego and emotional state from the specific profit or loss outcome of each individual trade is absolutely paramount for sustained success. The unwavering focus must remain steadfastly on the consistent quality of execution, not on the inherently unpredictable result of the current isolated trade. One of Mark Douglas's most pivotal and transformative contributions to the field of trader psychology is encapsulated in the profound yet deceptively straightforward mantra, "Anything can happen." This concise statement is not intended to instill a sense of pervasive fear in traders, nor does it mean to suggest that financial markets are entirely lawless, utterly chaotic environments devoid of any discernible patterns or exploitable tendencies. Rather, it articulates a fundamental and inescapable truth about the dynamic market environment. It is a core principle that traders must deeply internalize and fully accept if they are to achieve a consistent state of disciplined execution and maintain essential emotional resilience in the face of constant flux. This idea forms a critical cornerstone of developing a robust, probabilistic mindset. Far from being a pessimistic forecast of impending doom or constant danger, the genuine acceptance that anything can happen at any given moment in the market is, in reality, an incredibly liberating psychological position for a trader to adopt. This acceptance helps to systematically dismantle the dangerous and often subconscious illusion of certainty that many traders desperately, yet fruitlessly, seek. When you truly and wholeheartedly accept the possibility that the market can, and sometimes will, do something completely unexpected, something that defies your current analysis or expectations, you are far less likely to be caught emotionally or financially off guard when such an event inevitably occurs. This proactive acceptance effectively removes the debilitating element of shock and the subsequent emotional turmoil that so often leads to poor, reactive decision-making. Truly internalizing this powerful belief that anything can happen has immediate, direct, and highly practical implications for the implementation of robust and non-negotiable risk management protocols. If you genuinely believe, at your core, that any single trade you take has the potential to turn decisively against you, regardless of how perfect or certain the setup might appear according to your analytical framework, then you will naturally and diligently use protective stop-loss orders on every position. You will make it an unbreakable habit to clearly define your maximum acceptable financial risk before you even consider entering any trade. You will not allow yourself to become complacent after a string of wins, nor will you permit a small, manageable loss to escalate into a financially catastrophic one, because you understand that the unpredictable is always a latent possibility, a constant companion in the trading arena. This mindset of actively embracing inherent uncertainty stands in stark and beneficial contrast to the futile, mentally exhausting, and ultimately counterproductive quest to achieve absolute certainty in predicting future market movements. The trader who relentlessly demands certainty from an inherently uncertain environment will find themselves perpetually frustrated, anxious, and prone to emotional decision-making. Conversely, the trader who genuinely accepts the reality that anything can happen actively cultivates crucial psychological traits such as adaptability, mental flexibility, and profound resilience. They become far better prepared to navigate the market's inherent unpredictability with composure, focusing their energy on meticulously managing their own reactions and consistently adhering to their predefined plan, rather than attempting the impossible task of controlling the uncontrollable market itself. Our human brains are truly magnificent and highly evolved pattern recognition machines, meticulously shaped over countless millennia to actively seek out order, establish predictability, and achieve a sense of certainty in our surrounding environment. This inherent biological and psychological programming serves us exceptionally well in many diverse aspects of our daily lives, enabling us to learn effectively, adapt to new situations, and make coherent sense of the complex world around us. However, when this natural human inclination to demand certainty and predictability is applied directly and without modification to the unique environment of the financial markets, it can unfortunately transform into a significant and challenging psychological impediment to consistent trading success. Markets, by their very design and function, operate primarily on probabilities and statistical likelihoods, not on comforting absolutes, especially concerning short-term price movements. Mark Douglas, throughout, emphatically underscores that a fundamental and often difficult mental rewiring process is absolutely necessary for traders who aspire to achieve lasting success. This crucial transformation involves consciously and deliberately shifting one's dominant cognitive framework from a predictive mindset, which is characterized by a constant and anxious striving to know precisely what will happen next in the market, to a probabilistic one. A trader who thinks probabilistically understands clearly that their identified edge provides them with a statistically higher likelihood of success over a large series of trades, but it explicitly does not offer any guarantee of success on any single isolated instance. This profound mental shift is rarely intuitive for most people. It requires sustained, deliberate effort and consistent conscious reinforcement until it becomes the trader's ingrained default mode of operational thinking. Adopting and consistently maintaining a probabilistic perspective significantly reduces the often overwhelming emotional burden that is so commonly associated with active trading. When you genuinely accept that any conceivable outcome is possible for any individual trade you undertake, a losing trade is no longer automatically perceived as a devastating personal failure, or as definitive proof that your entire trading strategy is fundamentally flawed. Instead, a loss is correctly viewed as a statistically expected and entirely normal event, simply one of the inevitable occurrences that fall within the natural distribution of wins and losses, characteristic of your specific trading edge. This crucial psychological detachment effectively prevents the kind of emotional hijacking that frequently leads to impulsive, irrational decisions, and it helps to preserve mental clarity and essential objectivity, even when operating under significant market pressure or during a string of losses. Cultivating this invaluable probabilistic way of thinking can begin with the implementation of several concrete practical steps. Traders should, as a first priority, meticulously define the parameters of their trading edge, and then diligently work to understand its inherent statistical properties, perhaps through rigorous backtesting over historical data, or by analyzing performance over a live traded sample. They should consciously shift their focus towards executing a defined series of trades. For instance, a block of 20 or 30 trades, treating this series as a single, cohesive unit of measure for evaluating performance, rather than obsessing anxiously over the outcome of each trade as it unfolds. Consistently applying strict risk management rules, without exception and regardless of how confident one feels about a particular setup, further reinforces the vital understanding that uncertainty is an ever-present factor in the markets. Within the specific context of professional trading and in alignment with Mark Douglas's core philosophy, a trader's edge is not some kind of mystical secret, nor is it an infallible, perfectly predictive system that can foretell future market movements with unerring accuracy. Instead, a trading edge is, quite simply, a clearly defined statistical advantage. It represents a particular set of observable market conditions or recognizable price patterns meticulously outlined by your trading strategy, which objectively indicate a higher probability of one specific market outcome occurring over another potential outcome. This edge is often quite subtle in its manifestation. It does not typically announce itself with loud, obvious signals, but rather whispers its presence. The essence of an edge is about consistently tilting the odds, even if only slightly, in your favor, and doing so repeatedly over a significant period of time. It is absolutely crucial for every trader to deeply understand and internalize the concept that possessing a statistically valid edge does not, and indeed cannot, ever guarantee a successful outcome on any single individual trade. The true underlying power and financial benefit of a statistical edge are only revealed and realized through its consistent, disciplined, and unwavering application over a sufficiently large number of trades. A helpful analogy is to think of it like flipping a specially weighted coin that has been designed to land on heads 60% of the time and tails 40% of the time. Even with this known bias, you still cannot predict the outcome of the very next flip with certainty. However, if you flip that coin 1,000 times, you would confidently expect to see approximately 600 heads. Your trading edge fundamentally operates on a very similar probabilistic principle. Unfortunately, many developing traders fundamentally misunderstand or incorrectly apply the vital concept of their trading edge. They might discover or develop a strategy that has shown a clear positive expectancy in historical testing or in initial live trading. However, when they inevitably experience a string of consecutive losses, which is a statistically normal and expected occurrence even with a genuinely valid edge, they often quickly lose faith in their methodology. They might prematurely and incorrectly conclude that their edge is suddenly broken, or perhaps that it was never truly real in the first place. This disillusionment frequently leads to a detrimental pattern of constant system hopping, endlessly searching for that elusive perfect system, thereby preventing them from ever giving any single edge enough trades and time to properly demonstrate its inherent probabilistic advantage. This chase is often a pursuit of the illusion of certainty. Mastering the intricate mental game of trading, as Mark Douglas so clearly teaches, involves a profound and unwavering acceptance of the true, unvarnished, probabilistic nature of your chosen trading edge. It means understanding at a core level that experiencing losses is not a deviation from your plan, but an integral and unavoidable part of the process when working with probabilities. The primary focus, therefore, must remain resolutely fixed on one thing: the disciplined and flawless execution of your trading plan, trade after trade after trade, thus allowing your underlying statistical advantage the necessary scope and number of occurrences to play out effectively. This unwavering disciplined consistency, diligently maintained free from disruptive emotional interference or impulsive second-guessing, is precisely where the real enduring power of a trading edge is ultimately unlocked, and how sustained long-term profitability is finally achieved and maintained. Most traders relentlessly chase the elusive goal of consistency, believing it to be the ultimate hallmark of trading success. They often search for this consistency in external factors, such as finding the perfect, infallible trading strategy or mastering a complex suite of technical indicators that promise to unlock market secrets. This outward search leads them down a path of constant system tweaking, indicator hopping, and an endless quest for more market knowledge. Many believe that if they could just find the right set of external rules or the ultimate analytical tool, consistent profits would naturally follow. This common approach, however, often overlooks the most critical component of lasting trading success. The profound truth, as Mark Douglas meticulously explains is that genuine, unwavering consistency in trading does not primarily originate from external strategies or market conditions. It springs forth from within the trader themselves. It is deeply rooted in the trader's internal world, specifically within their fundamental belief system. While a sound strategy provides the necessary framework for identifying opportunities, it is the trader's underlying beliefs about the market, about themselves, and about the nature of trading that ultimately dictate their ability to execute that strategy consistently. These beliefs are the invisible hand guiding every decision and action. Our beliefs act as powerful, often subconscious, filters through which we perceive all incoming market information. They shape our interpretation of price movements, news events, and even the signals generated by our own trading systems. If a trader harbors beliefs that are misaligned with how markets actually behave, for instance, a belief that the market owes them something, their perception will be skewed. This distortion leads to emotional reactions like frustration or anger when the market doesn't conform to their expectations. Consequently, their actions become erratic and inconsistent, regardless of the quality of their strategy, because their internal blueprint is flawed. Instead of recognizing this internal source of inconsistency, many traders double down on their external search, or they simply try to exert more willpower to follow the rules. However, attempting to force discipline without addressing the underlying conflicting beliefs is like trying to steer a ship against a powerful hidden current. It is exhausting and ultimately futile. True consistency emerges naturally when a trader's belief system is in complete harmony with the probabilistic nature of the market. This fundamental alignment allows for objective perception and disciplined action, forming the very bedrock upon which consistent trading results are built and sustained over time. Within the intricate landscape of a trader's mind, certain deeply ingrained beliefs can act as insidious saboteurs, silently undermining even the most well-intentioned efforts to achieve consistent results. One of the most common and damaging of these is the belief that the market owes me something. This might manifest as an expectation of being quickly rewarded for hard work, or a feeling of entitlement to profits after a string of losses. This belief sets traders up for immense disappointment and emotional turmoil because the market, an impersonal force, operates without any regard for individual desires, efforts, or past outcomes. It simply reflects the collective actions of its participants. Another prevalent and equally destructive belief is the expectation of inherent fairness from the market. Traders who believe the market should be fair often become deeply frustrated or angered by unexpected price spikes, seemingly irrational movements or losses that occur despite perfect setups. They perceive these events as personal injustices. However, the market is not a court of law or an arbiter of fairness. It is an arena of probabilities where anything can happen. Expecting fairness is like expecting a hurricane to spare your house because you are a good person. This misplaced expectation leads to emotional trading decisions driven by resentment rather than by objective analysis of the prevailing conditions. Furthermore, the pervasive belief that a successful trader must always be right or possess the ability to accurately predict the market's next move is a significant barrier to consistency. This need to be correct fuels ego involvement and makes it incredibly difficult to accept losses gracefully, which are an inevitable part of trading. When a prediction fails, as it often will in a probabilistic environment, the trader with this belief experiences it as a personal failure, leading to self-doubt or, conversely, a reckless desire to prove the market wrong. This directly conflicts with the probabilistic mindset required to trade effectively, where one accepts that an edge plays out over many trades, not on any single instance. These types of detrimental beliefs create a fertile ground for emotional decision-making, which is the antithesis of consistent trading. When the market invariably fails to meet these flawed expectations, when it doesn't pay back what is owed, doesn't act fairly, or doesn't conform to predictions, the trader's negative emotions are triggered. Fear, anger, frustration, or greed then take the helm, leading to impulsive actions like chasing trades, revenge trading, or abandoning their strategy altogether. Thus, these unseen architects of failure, the trader's own sabotaging beliefs, systematically dismantle any hope of achieving disciplined and consistent execution, regardless of the strategy employed. The encouraging insight Mark Douglas offers is that our belief systems, while deeply ingrained, are not immutable stone tablets. They are learned constructs. Just as we acquired our current beliefs throughout our lives, often unconsciously, we possess the inherent capacity to consciously unlearn those that no longer serve us and to actively install new, more empowering ones that align with trading realities. This process of reprogramming the mind is not about simplistic positive thinking. It is a deliberate and structured endeavor to reshape the very mental framework through which we interact with the market, aiming for genuine discipline and unwavering objectivity in our actions. The first crucial step in this transformative journey is the honest and courageous identification of one's existing harmful beliefs. This requires dedicated self-reflection and a willingness to observe one's own thoughts and emotional reactions without judgment, especially during and after trading sessions. Keeping a detailed trading journal that records not only trades but also the emotions, thoughts, and justifications surrounding each decision can be an invaluable tool. Recognizing recurring negative thought patterns, such as "I always miss the big moves," or emotional triggers, like intense anger after 2 consecutive losses, begins to illuminate the specific beliefs that are actively undermining consistent performance. Once these counterproductive beliefs are brought into conscious awareness, the next stage involves systematically challenging their validity and then actively working to replace them with beliefs that are congruent with the 5 fundamental truths of trading. For instance, the belief "I must know what will happen next to make money" can be replaced with "I don't need to know what will happen next to make money. I just need to follow my edge." This involves consciously choosing the new belief and reinforcing it through techniques such as affirmations, visualization, and deliberately acting as if the new belief is already true. It's about creating new neural pathways through consistent, focused mental effort and repetition. It is vital to understand that this reprogramming of one's core belief system is rarely an instantaneous transformation. It is a gradual process that demands persistent effort, patience, and unwavering commitment. There will likely be moments of reversion to old thought patterns and behaviors. However, with sustained practice, the new, empowering beliefs will begin to take root more firmly, leading to a natural emergence of genuine discipline and objective decision-making. This internal shift forms a new, solid foundation, allowing the trader to operate from a state of mental clarity and emotional control, which are essential for navigating the markets successfully and consistently over the long term. The core message that resonates powerfully throughout Mark Douglas's is the undeniable existence of a direct and unbreakable causal chain. Our underlying beliefs are the ultimate determinants of our perceptions. These perceptions, in turn, dictate our emotional state when we engage with the market. Our emotional state then directly influences our behavior, the actions we take or fail to take. Finally, it is this consistent pattern of behavior that ultimately shapes and creates our trading results over time. Understanding and mastering this internal sequence is paramount for any trader aspiring to achieve lasting consistency. Consider 2 traders, both using the exact same effective trading strategy. Trader A operates with empowering beliefs. They accept that losses are part of trading, they trust their edge over a series of trades, and they believe anything can happen. Trader B, however, harbors flawed beliefs. They fear losses intensely, believe they must be right on every trade, and feel the market is often unfair. When faced with a series of losing trades, Trader A, guided by their empowering beliefs, will likely remain calm, stick to their plan, manage risk appropriately, and continue to execute flawlessly. Their behavior remains consistent with their strategy. Trader B, on the other hand, when confronted with the same losing streak, will experience significant emotional distress due to their conflicting beliefs. Their fear of loss might cause them to hesitate on the next signal, or their need to be right might lead them to abandon their stop loss, hoping the trade turns around. They might feel the market is being unfair, leading to anger and revenge trading. Their behavior becomes erratic, inconsistent, and detached from their strategy's rules. Even with the same strategy, Trader B's results will inevitably suffer due to the negative behaviors stemming from their unhelpful beliefs. This direct link demonstrates that true trading consistency is not merely about finding a better strategy or trying harder to follow rules through sheer willpower. It is fundamentally about cultivating a belief system that naturally supports disciplined and objective behavior, regardless of market fluctuations or the outcome of any single trade. When a trader's beliefs are aligned with the probabilistic nature of the market, their actions become consistently aligned with their trading plan. This consistent, disciplined behavior, repeated over a large sample of trades, is what allows a statistical edge to manifest as consistent profitability. Mastering this internal architecture of beliefs is the ultimate key to unlocking the consistency principle and achieving the trader's zone. Fear is a powerful and insidious emotion within the trading arena, often acting as a silent saboteur of even the most well-crafted trading plans. It rarely announces its presence directly. Instead, it manifests through a variety of destructive trading behaviors that systematically erode a trader's capital and confidence. One of its most common disguises is hesitation. A trader, paralyzed by the fear of taking a loss, might see a perfectly valid trade setup according to their strategy, yet find themselves unable to click the mouse and enter the position. This hesitation leads to missed opportunities, often watching the market move significantly in the anticipated direction without them, fueling further regret and reinforcing the fear for the next potential trade. Another destructive way fear shows its face is through the damaging practice of overtrading. This can occur in two primary forms, both equally detrimental. Some traders, after a series of losses, might feel an immense pressure to quickly recoup their money. Fearful of falling further behind, they start seeing opportunities where none exist according to their plan, jumping into suboptimal trades with little analysis. Alternatively, after a period of success, the fear of missing out, or FOMO, can drive traders to take on too many positions, diluting their focus and often leading to impulsive decisions outside their core strategy. Overtrading significantly increases transaction costs and exposure to unfavorable market conditions, all driven by an underlying current of fear. Revenge trading is perhaps one of the most overtly emotional and dangerous manifestations of fear in the market. After suffering a particularly painful loss, or a string of losses, a trader might feel personally attacked or wronged by the market. The fear of being a loser, or the intense desire to immediately erase the negative feeling of the loss can drive them to abandon all discipline. They might impulsively re-enter the market, often with larger position sizes, trying to force a win. These revenge trades are almost never based on sound analysis, but are purely emotional reactions, a desperate attempt to fight back, usually leading to even more significant financial damage and deeper psychological scars. These fear-driven behaviors, hesitation, overtrading, and revenge trading, all stem from a fundamental inability to accept the inherent risks and uncertainties of the market. When fear is in control, rational thought processes are sidelined. The trader is no longer operating from their analytical mind or their tested strategy. They are reacting from a primal place of perceived threat. This emotional interference prevents objective decision-making, making it virtually impossible to achieve any form of consistency. Recognizing these behavioral symptoms is the first critical step towards addressing the underlying fear that fuels them and reclaiming control over one's trading actions. To effectively combat fear in trading, it is essential to understand its deeper origins, to dig beneath the surface behaviors and explore why it wields such power over so many market participants. At its core, trading fear is profoundly rooted in our natural human attachment to money and the intense desire to avoid the pain associated with its loss. Money in our society represents far more than mere currency. It is often equated with security, freedom, self-worth, and even survival. Therefore, the prospect of losing money in a trade can trigger deep-seated anxieties that go far beyond the simple numerical value on the screen. This attachment to financial outcomes becomes particularly problematic in the trading environment because every single trade carries an element of risk. There are no guarantees, the market can move unexpectedly, and losses are an unavoidable part of the game. When a trader places their capital on the line, they are confronting this uncertainty directly. The fear of loss is, in essence, a fear of this uncertain outcome, a fear that the future event will result in pain or a diminishment of their financial well-being. This can create a constant state of underlying tension and apprehension, making it difficult to approach trading with the necessary objectivity and calmness required for success. Mark Douglas highlights another critical aspect of trading fear. For many individuals, the fear of being wrong often outweighs the actual fear of losing money. This might seem counterintuitive, but our ego, our sense of self-importance, and intellectual competence can become deeply entangled with our trading decisions. We want to be right. We want our analysis and predictions to be validated by the market. When a trade goes against us, it can feel like a personal failure, a direct blow to our intelligence or capabilities. This fear of being proven incorrect can be incredibly potent, leading to irrational behaviors. This fear of being wrong can manifest in various ways, such as holding on to losing positions for too long, hoping the market will turn around and prove the initial decision correct, thus avoiding the painful admission of error. It can also lead to cutting winning trades short, just to ensure a win, and the associated feeling of being right, even if it means missing out on larger potential profits. Understanding these psychological roots, the attachment to money, the fear of uncertain outcomes, and the profound fear of being wrong, is crucial for developing effective strategies to manage and ultimately neutralize fear's crippling influence on trading performance. The assertion that many traders fear being proven incorrect even more intensely than they fear the actual financial loss associated with a trade is a cornerstone of Mark Douglas's psychological insights. This phenomenon reveals the powerful role our ego plays in the trading arena, transforming the market into a battlefield for personal validation rather than an environment for objective, probabilistic decision-making. Our society often rewards correctness and penalizes mistakes, conditioning us from a young age to equate being right with being intelligent, competent, and successful. This conditioning is carried directly into trading, where the desire to be right about market direction can become an overwhelming psychological driver. When a trader's ego becomes heavily invested in the outcome of a trade, every market tick that moves against their position is perceived not just as a potential financial decrement, but as a personal affront, a challenge to their analytical prowess. The thought, "I am wrong," can be far more painful and difficult to accept than, "I am losing money on this trade." This intense aversion to being incorrect often leads to classic trading errors. For instance, a trader might stubbornly refuse to accept a small, manageable loss, holding on to a deteriorating position in the desperate hope that the market will reverse and vindicate their initial judgment, thereby avoiding the ego-bruising admission of a mistake. This fear of being wrong also sabotages the profit-taking side of a trade. A trader might secure a small profit very quickly, not because their strategy dictates it, but because the immediate positive reinforcement of being right is so psychologically rewarding. They prioritize the feeling of correctness over the potential for maximizing their gains according to their plan. They fear that if they hold on longer for a larger profit, the market might reverse, not only erasing the profit but also turning their right call into a wrong one. This premature profit-taking, driven by the ego's need for validation, significantly skews the risk-reward ratio and undermines long-term profitability. Ultimately, the market is an impersonal mechanism that has no concern for any individual trader's need to be right. It simply unfolds according to the collective forces of supply and demand. Trying to impose one's will or ego upon it is a futile and costly exercise. True trading mastery involves detaching the ego from trade outcomes. It requires cultivating a mindset where a loss is simply feedback from the market, an expected occurrence within a probabilistic system, not a reflection of one's self-worth or intelligence. This detachment is essential for making objective decisions and consistently executing a trading plan without the distorting influence of ego-driven fear. The antidote to the silent killer of fear in trading lies not in trying to eliminate the emotion itself, which is a natural human response, but in fundamentally changing our relationship with it. It involves training ourselves to execute trades without disruptive emotional interference, cultivating a state of mental detachment from the immediate outcome. Mark Douglas emphasizes a crucial realization. You as a trader do not control the market. You cannot dictate its direction, nor can you eliminate its inherent uncertainty. The only thing you have absolute control over is your own internal state, your thoughts, your beliefs, and consequently, your reactions to whatever the market presents. This journey towards emotional neutrality begins with a conscious and deliberate commitment to redefine what constitutes success in trading. Instead of focusing on whether an individual trade makes money or loses money, the primary focus must shift to flawless execution of a predefined, positively expectant trading plan. This means defining your entry criteria, your exit rules for both profits and losses, and your position sizing before you enter a trade, and then adhering to these rules with unwavering discipline. When your objective becomes consistent execution, rather than just making money on this one trade, the emotional charge associated with potential losses begins to diminish significantly. A practical step in this training process is to fully accept the risk of any trade before you take it. This involves not just intellectually acknowledging the possibility of a loss, but emotionally embracing it. Ask yourself, am I truly okay if this trade results in my maximum predefined loss? If the answer is no, or if there's significant internal resistance, the trade should not be taken, or the position size should be reduced until that acceptance is genuine. Trading with money you cannot afford to lose, or risking too much on a single trade, massively amplifies fear. Proper risk management is therefore a foundational element in neutralizing fear, as it confines potential pain to acceptable levels. Ultimately, developing a trader's mindset where fear holds no sway is about operating from a belief system that is in harmony with market realities. This involves internalizing the 5 fundamental truths, especially that anything can happen, and that an edge is nothing more than an indication of a higher probability of one thing happening over another. When these truths are deeply embedded, you approach each trade as just one event in a long series, understanding that individual outcomes are random, but that your edge will play out over time if you remain disciplined. This perspective allows you to act without hesitation or emotional turmoil, achieving a state of calm preparedness, the true hallmark of trading in the zone. Mark Douglas often draws a compelling parallel between the mindset of a successful trader and that of a disciplined samurai warrior. The samurai approaches battle not with reckless aggression or emotional outbursts, but with a profound sense of calm, unwavering focus, and meticulous preparation. In the chaotic environment of the financial markets, which can often feel like a battlefield, this samurai-like demeanor is not just admirable, it is essential. Cultivating such composure allows a trader to navigate the inherent volatility and pressures without succumbing to fear or greed. This internal stillness is the foundation upon which sound decisions are made, even when the market seems to be moving unpredictably and rapidly all around them. This state of calm preparedness is not achieved by chance. It is the direct result of rigorous and comprehensive preparation. For the samurai, this meant mastering their weapon, understanding their enemy, and knowing the terrain. For the trader, it involves more than just analyzing charts and economic news. It demands a deep understanding of their own trading strategy, its statistical edge, and its inherent limitations. It also requires thorough mental preparation, clearly defining risk parameters for every trade, visualizing potential scenarios, and mentally rehearsing disciplined responses to various market movements. This holistic preparation ensures the trader is ready to act decisively and correctly when opportunity or danger appears, without being caught off guard by market surprises. Perhaps the most crucial attribute of this samurai trader mindset is a profound sense of detachment. The samurai warrior understood that in battle, the outcome was never entirely within their control, despite their skill and preparation. Similarly, the trader must learn to detach from the specific outcome of any individual trade. This means letting go of the emotional need to be right, releasing the attachment to the money involved in each position, and resisting the ego's desire for constant validation. Detachment allows the trader to view market action objectively, executing their plan based on signals and probabilities rather than emotional impulses or wishful thinking. Wins and losses are seen as data points, not personal triumphs or failures. This disciplined, detached approach stands in stark contrast to the emotionally charged behavior often exhibited by novice or struggling traders. Many enter the market driven by excitement, hope, or fear, reacting impulsively to price swings and news events. Their actions are often dictated by their internal emotional state rather than a predefined objective plan. The samurai trader, however, understands that the true battle is won or lost within. By mastering their inner world through calm, preparation, and detachment, they create the mental environment necessary to consistently execute their edge and achieve long-term success in the demanding arena of trading. A significant obstacle on the path to developing a trader's mindset is the pervasive influence of the human ego. Our ego, that inherent sense of self-importance and the desire to be correct, can be a formidable enemy in the trading world. When the ego is heavily invested in trading decisions, it becomes incredibly difficult to admit mistakes or accept losses gracefully. A losing trade is often interpreted not as a probabilistic outcome but as a personal failing, a sign of incompetence. This makes it challenging to cut losses short, as the ego clings to the hope of being proven right, often leading to even larger, more damaging financial setbacks and emotional distress. Equally burdensome are the lingering ghosts of past losses and trading errors. Previous negative experiences can cast a long shadow over a trader's current decision-making process, creating a cycle of fear and hesitation. If a trader suffered a significant loss on a similar setup in the past, they might freeze when the same opportunity arises again, even if it perfectly meets their strategy's criteria. Conversely, past losses can fuel a destructive desire for revenge against the market, leading to impulsive, oversized trades in a desperate attempt to recoup what was lost. This emotional baggage from prior trades prevents the trader from approaching new opportunities with the necessary objectivity and clarity, clouding their judgment. The process of developing a truly effective trader's mindset requires a conscious and deliberate effort to let go of both the ego's need for validation and the emotional weight of past failures. This does not mean forgetting the lessons learned from mistakes. Rather, it involves acknowledging the experience, extracting the wisdom, and then releasing the associated negative emotions like anger, regret, or self-blame. It means forgiving oneself for past errors and understanding that they do not define one's potential for future success. This act of letting go is an ongoing practice, a mental clearing of the slate before each new trading session or individual trade. The freedom that comes from successfully releasing these psychological shackles is transformative. When the ego is no longer fighting to be right and past losses no longer dictate present actions, a profound sense of mental clarity emerges. The trader can then perceive market information more objectively, without the distorting filters of fear or pride. Decisions become more rational, aligned with the trading plan rather than emotional impulses. Trading without this heavy baggage allows for a lighter, more focused approach, enabling the trader to respond to the market's unfolding dynamics with greater agility, discipline, and ultimately, greater consistency in their actions and results. One of the most common mental traps for traders is allowing their minds to wander away from the present moment. Many traders find themselves dwelling excessively on past trades, replaying mistakes, lamenting missed opportunities, or basking too long in the glory of a previous win. Others project their thoughts too far into the future, consumed by anxiety about potential losses, or fantasizing about the riches a string of successful trades might bring. Both tendencies, whether rooted in regret for the past or anxiety about the future, are highly counterproductive. They distract the trader from the only moment where effective action can be taken, the present, the now of the current market environment. Mark Douglas strongly emphasizes the importance of treating every single trade as a unique and independent event. The outcome of your last trade, whether it was a winner or a loser, has absolutely no bearing on the probable outcome of your next trade, assuming your edge has a random distribution between wins and losses. Each trading setup presents a fresh set of circumstances. By focusing intently and exclusively on the current trade, the now opportunity, you prevent the emotional residue from previous experiences from clouding your judgment or influencing your execution. This singular focus allows for a clean, objective assessment of the present market signals. This disciplined concentration on the immediate task at hand significantly enhances a trader's ability to execute their plan flawlessly. When your mind is fully engaged with the current market information and the specific steps of your trading strategy, you are less likely to make careless errors or deviate from your rules due to emotional distractions. Your attention is directed towards identifying your edge, entering at the correct point, managing your risk according to plan, and exiting when your criteria are met. This present moment awareness fosters a state of flow, where actions become more automatic and aligned with your established methodology, reducing the interference from second-guessing or fear. Cultivating this powerful present moment focus is an active skill that can be developed through conscious practice. Simple techniques such as taking a few deep breaths before analyzing a chart or making a trading decision can help center your mind. A pre-trade routine that specifically involves mentally letting go of the previous trade and affirming your commitment to the current one can be very effective. During the trade, consciously redirect your attention to the execution of your planned steps whenever your mind starts to drift to past outcomes or future worries. The aim is to be fully present, observing and responding to the market as it is right now. Section 4. Practical rituals for mindset mastery. Developing the coveted trader's mindset characterized by discipline, detachment, and focus is not an accidental occurrence or an innate talent possessed by a select few. Instead, it is a skill that is meticulously cultivated through consistent, deliberate practice and the establishment of supportive mental rituals. Just as an athlete hones their physical abilities through repetitive training, a trader must engage in regular mental exercises to strengthen their psychological resilience and reinforce empowering beliefs. These rituals provide structure and consistency, helping to build and maintain the desired mental state conducive to peak trading performance, especially under pressure. One of the most powerful rituals advocated by Mark Douglas and many trading psychologists is the practice of journaling emotions alongside trade details. This goes far beyond simply recording entry and exit prices. A comprehensive trading journal should capture the thoughts, feelings, and justifications that accompanied each decision. What emotions were present before, during, and after the trade? Was there fear, greed, anxiety, or overconfidence? By regularly reviewing these emotional patterns, traders gain invaluable self-awareness. They begin to identify personal triggers that lead to undisciplined behavior, allowing them to consciously work on new responses and break old, destructive habits. Implementing a consistent pre-market routine is another highly effective practice for cultivating a trader's mindset. This might involve activities such as meditation, mindfulness exercises, or simply a few minutes of quiet, focused breathing before the trading session begins. The goal of these practices is to calm the mind, release any lingering stress or emotional baggage from outside life or previous trading days, and center one's focus. It's an opportunity to mentally prepare for the challenges ahead, to set clear intentions for disciplined trading, and to consciously step into a state of calm alertness, ready to engage the market objectively and without emotional bias. Finally, the strategic use of affirmations can play a significant role in reprogramming the subconscious mind and reinforcing the core beliefs essential for trading success. Regularly repeating statements such as, "I am a disciplined trader, I always follow my plan," or "My edge is in my consistency," helps to counteract negative self-talk and build new, empowering neural pathways. These affirmations are not wishful thinking. They are declarations of intent and reminders of the principles you are committed to embodying. Over time, these practical rituals, journaling, pre-market centering, and affirmations, work synergistically to forge a robust, resilient, and effective trader's mindset, allowing you to consistently trade in the zone. Section 1. Recapping the journey, the primacy of psychological mastery. The journey through the profound insights of Mark Douglas's Trading in the Zone has consistently illuminated a path less traveled, yet critically more important, for those who venture into the complex world of financial markets. Most individuals initially embark on their trading careers with the deeply ingrained belief that sophisticated strategies, intricate analytical tools, or perhaps some form of predictive wizardry are the ultimate keys to unlocking consistent profitability and enduring success. However, Douglas, with compelling clarity and unshakable conviction, powerfully redirects our collective focus. He asserts time and again that the true arena of battle, the place where trading fortunes are truly won or lost, is not the external, often chaotic market, but rather the internal, intricate landscape of the individual trader's own mind. This pivotal shift in perspective underscores a fundamental truth. Without first conquering our inner psychological demons, even the most statistically brilliant trading system is ultimately destined to falter and fail under real-world pressures. The essential quest, therefore, is not for a flawless, ever-predictive market method, but for a robust, resilient, and flawlessly disciplined mindset capable of navigating uncertainty. Throughout this comprehensive exploration of Douglas's work, we have systematically confronted the common, yet often unacknowledged, psychological hurdles that consistently sabotage the aspirations of countless traders. We have delved into how the pervasive emotion of fear can effectively paralyze rational decision-making processes or, conversely, incite reckless, impulsive actions that deviate wildly from a sound plan. We have examined how the trader's ego, with its insistent need to be proven correct, can lead to disastrously poor risk management choices and an inability to accept small necessary losses. Furthermore, we have highlighted how a fundamental misunderstanding of the inherently probabilistic nature of market behavior can create wildly unrealistic expectations, which in turn fuel significant emotional turmoil and inconsistent actions. These potent internal forces, if left unaddressed and unchecked, are invariably amplified by the market's inherent uncertainty, transforming potential opportunities into painful sources of deep frustration and avoidable financial loss. The market itself remains neutral. It simply acts as an unblinking mirror, reflecting our internal state back to us through the tangible medium of our trading results. Mark Douglas's central thesis, a message that resonates with enduring clarity and profound practical application, is that genuine, sustainable trading success stems primarily from the diligent development and unwavering maintenance of a specific trader's mindset. This is not merely a collection of positive affirmations or fleeting mental tricks. Rather, it is a comprehensive psychological framework meticulously built upon the unshakable pillars of profound discipline, unwavering objectivity, and a complete, almost serene acceptance of inherent market risk. Attaining this mindset requires a profound and often challenging shift from the futile, anxiety-ridden attempt to accurately predict the market's every twist and turn. Instead, it champions the empowering practice of learning to effectively manage oneself, one's thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, with precision and consistency within the dynamic and ever-changing market environment. This transformation necessitates cultivating a system of core beliefs that are in perfect harmony with how financial markets actually behave, rather than clinging to notions of how we might wish they would behave or how our deeply ingrained, often flawed cognitive biases incorrectly tell us they should operate. Therefore, mastering the intricate and often elusive mental game, as detailed with such precision in Trading in the Zone, is not merely an ancillary skill or an optional enhancement for aspiring traders looking for an extra edge. It is in fact the foundational bedrock, the absolute and non-negotiable prerequisite, upon which all consistent, resilient, and long-term trading achievement must be meticulously and painstakingly built. Without this crucial psychological mastery, traders remain perpetually vulnerable to the capricious whims of their emotions and the distorting influence of their cognitive biases, both of which inevitably lead to erratic performance, missed opportunities, and compounded losses. By consciously prioritizing the dedicated development of this vital inner edge, traders can finally unlock their true, untapped potential and begin to navigate the often turbulent waters of the financial markets with newfound confidence, enduring composure, and the kind of unwavering consistency that defines genuine trading success. Section 2. The Trader's Untapped Edge. Process over Outcome. The invaluable insights gleaned from Mark Douglas's seminal work, Trading in the Zone, serve to fundamentally redefine the very concept of what constitutes a trader's edge in the competitive financial markets. Many individuals, particularly those new to trading or those still struggling to find consistency, erroneously seek this elusive edge in the development of increasingly complex algorithms, the discovery of supposedly secret technical indicators, or the acquisition of exclusive, privileged market information. However, Trading in the Zone powerfully and persuasively articulates that while a logically sound trading strategy with a demonstrable positive statistical expectancy is indeed a necessary component, the real and often largely untapped edge lies dormant within the trader's own mind. It is the cultivated, unwavering ability to execute that chosen strategy with flawless discipline, trade after trade, consistently and without deviation, regardless of distracting emotional impulses, tempting market noise, or the specific profit or loss outcome of the immediately preceding trade. This internal capacity for disciplined execution is what transforms a good theoretical plan into consistently good, tangible results in the real world. A profound and often surprising sense of liberation accompanies the conscious and deliberate shift in a trader's primary focus, moving away from being anxiously fixated on the monetary outcome of each individual trade to concentrating intently and exclusively on the process of trading itself. This refined focus means meticulously adhering to predefined, objective rules for identifying valid setups, for precise entry timing, for disciplined exit strategies, both for taking profits and cutting losses, and for consistent risk management through appropriate position sizing, all without exception or emotional override. When the paramount objective transitions from simply making money on the current trade to achieving flawless execution of the overall trading plan, The intense emotional stakes typically tied to each specific outcome are significantly and beneficially lowered. This process-oriented approach allows traders to operate with far greater objectivity, freeing them from the crippling anxiety and immense pressure associated with feeling the need for every single trade to be a definitive winner. By wholeheartedly embracing a consistently process-driven methodology, traders actively cultivate the essential psychological resilience required to navigate the market's inherent uncertainty and its undeniable randomness without succumbing to debilitating emotional distress or making impulsive, fear-based decisions. They come to deeply understand and internalize the truth that experiencing losses is not an anomaly or a sign of failure, but rather an inevitable, statistically normal and entirely acceptable part of trading any system that relies on a probabilistic edge. This crucial understanding allows them to accept these losses gracefully, to learn valuable lessons from them without engaging in harsh self-recrimination, and then to move on cleanly to the next potential trading opportunity with a clear, unbiased, and focused mind. They recognize with clarity that while they possess no direct control over specific market outcomes, they have absolute and unwavering control over their own actions, their carefully chosen responses, and their consistent adherence to their well-defined plan, which is an incredibly powerful and empowering position from which to operate. This diligently cultivated mastery over one's internal trading process directly and effectively addresses the persistent challenge of dealing with market risk. While risk itself is an inherent and unavoidable characteristic of active trading and cannot be entirely eliminated from the equation, the debilitating and performance-destroying fear of risk can be systematically managed and effectively neutralized through conscious effort. When a trader genuinely trusts their meticulously developed process, consistently applies their predetermined risk management rules without fail, and fully accepts the probabilistic nature of market outcomes, the pervasive fear often associated with potential losses begins to diminish significantly, often fading into the background. This controlled, calm, and rational response to risk, born directly from unwavering internal discipline and a sound, well-grounded psychological framework, becomes the true and sustainable source of long-term success and is the unmistakable hallmark of a trader consistently operating in the zone. Section 3. Embracing the Zone. A lifelong commitment to mental discipline. Achieving the highly coveted state of trading in the zone is not akin to reaching a static, final destination where all challenges cease. Nor is it merely a fleeting, occasional moment of exhilarating peak performance that one stumbles upon by chance. Rather, it represents an ongoing, dynamic, and evolving state of being. It is a profound and lifelong commitment to the continuous, dedicated practice of rigorous mental discipline, unwavering self-awareness, and steadfast psychological fortitude in the face of market pressures. The journey into this zone is, in essence, a journey of profound personal development and continuous self-improvement that extends its benefits far beyond the realm of financial charts and market indicators. The principles of emotional control, objective decision-making, and disciplined action learned in trading can apply with equal power to navigating uncertainty and managing emotions in many other challenging aspects of life, making it a truly transformative endeavor for those individuals who fully embrace its comprehensive teachings and commit to its path. To consistently inhabit this optimal trading mindset, individuals are strongly encouraged by Mark Douglas to deeply internalize the 5 fundamental truths about the nature of the market, making these truths the very cornerstones of their trading philosophy. Furthermore, they must actively, consciously, and persistently work on reshaping their underlying belief systems, systematically identifying and replacing any self-sabotaging thoughts or limiting assumptions with empowering perspectives that are in complete alignment with objective market realities. This often involves the diligent and consistent application of practical, actionable tools and techniques. These include maintaining detailed emotional trading journals to track patterns, establishing consistent pre-market mental preparation routines to foster focus, and strategically utilizing affirmations or self-coaching statements to reinforce new constructive thought patterns and beliefs. These dedicated practices, regularly performed, become the essential building blocks of lasting psychological change and mental resilience. Ultimately, the overarching goal of a truly successful trader, as powerfully illuminated by the wisdom contained within Trading in the Zone, transcends the mere singular accumulation of monetary wealth or the achievement of a certain account balance. While financial profit is undoubtedly a desired and logical byproduct of effective, disciplined trading, the primary objective thoughtfully shifts towards making the best trades possible, strictly according to one's predefined and statistically validated edge. This means diligently focusing on executing the trading plan flawlessly, managing risk impeccably on every single position, and operating consistently free from the distorting influences of fear, greed, hope, or an overbearing ego. When this commitment to process excellence becomes the central focus, financial rewards often follow as a natural and sustainable consequence of consistent, disciplined action and consistently sound, objective decision-making processes, rather than being pursued directly as the sole aim. In essence, the enduring and transformative wisdom of Mark Douglas's Trading in the Zone serves as a powerful and unwavering testament to the profound fact that true, sustainable trading mastery lies not in the futile attempt to outsmart or perfectly predict the vast and complex market, but rather in the attainable goal of completely mastering oneself. The ultimate competitive advantage, the crucial differentiating edge that truly separates the consistently successful traders from the perpetually struggling masses, is meticulously forged and painstakingly honed within the crucible of a disciplined, objective, and emotionally resilient mind. This profound psychological edge, cultivated through deliberate practice and unwavering commitment, is the absolute key to unlocking sustained profitability, achieving profound emotional resilience in the face of adversity, and consistently performing at one's peak potential. This indeed is the clearly illuminated path to truly and consistently trading in the zone, today, tomorrow, and for every trading day that follows.